So yeah, this is a game between Dubov and Karyakin. They're both super grandmasters playing for Russia, so we can imagine a fun battle happening. And this, I believe, this tournament was in 2020, and the game this game was played during Russian Championship, so it's gonna be a bunch of fun. Let's go. So, um, the first things first. How do we feel about Italian and being played in super high level? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. Like for me, I feel um, like especially when it's a tournament as important as Russian Championship and it's like last round, it feels like it needs to be more. And for from what we gathered at this tournament, Karyakin only needed to make a draw, and then he would be at least tied for first. And yeah, so he would need this, but he's playing Dubov, so he kind of got to be careful, and he's also black. Yeah, I mean, Brian Clark, I feel ya. It's probably gonna be like a 30 move prep at this point. Yeah, so Dubov chose a relatively um, less bloody compared to advance c3, and finally we got Juju Piano. I cannot pronounce this for my life, so you're gonna have to just laugh along with me for my lack of pronunciation of Juju Piano. And I know that's not the way to pronounce it. I've always read it like this, and I could never change it. So feel free to make a mini clip out of this, save it as a ringtone, whatever you want with it. Make sure there's a little laughter next to it. Yeah. So yeah, D4 we got it. I'm thinking I've never played this opening as white. I've played it with D3 a few times in a serious game. Yeah, so with D4, I just always like, I've had this happen to me a lot as black, but I've never really played this as white. So, what do we think? B4. Anything special about this? Because as you can probably recall, the main line is to take over here, check, probably like bishop d2, knight c3 also possible, but bishop d2, take, and then you take, and then the queen gets out of here, whoops, and then the queen gets out of here, and that's kind of one of the things that's always, you know, there, but I don't really, I like, it's so, everybody knows everything about it, so b4 was somewhat new. I'm thinking, have I ever had anybody play this against me when I was black? And not just in like blitz game, more like a little serious game, at least rated events. I can't recall if anybody has ever played this against me when I played this opening as black. So yeah. So I'm assuming that Karyakin was also a little caught off guard because this is not the main line. The main line is generally taking. I mean, also e5 was possible, but that's also transposes to a whole different world. So now, what do you think whites should do? I know it's very early, we're on like move 7, but I really want to know what you think whites should do. Here white is doing well, but obviously this is prep, so what do you think? Castling possible, but if we castle, then knight can take knight can take on e4, and then d5's coming up. No, surprisingly right now we don't want to castle just yet. we don't want to castle. We also don't want to rush into taking it because again, knight takes e4. So the biggest problem right now is this knight takes e4. So let's go ahead and play e5. Yeah, exactly. Let's go ahead, play e5. We're attacking this delicious knight. If you try to move it along, now I get to castle. And next move I can try with d5 and take here, and I have a cool center going on. If you try to play d5 yourself, I can umpass on you, and I could still push over here, and then try to take this. Well, right now you're attacking my bishop, so let's save the bishop, go for this diagonal. And I mean, this is possible, but I think just castling too early would be a little what's the right word? I don't want to say not too cliche, too. It kind of makes it so much easier for black. We don't want to make black's life easier. So after knight e4, if we castle, then there is that d5, right? So let's play bishop d5 ourselves, attacking the knights. You kind of only have one good idea to do. f5 is just bunch of different ways of wrong. I could take it over here, castle, queen running out of here. You're never gonna be able to do short castle. Yeah, no. I could also just simply castle if I want to. So yeah, no f5. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, if we castle, it would be a little too passive here. So bishop d5, you take. I'm gonna have to take, and now we gave up these two beautiful pawns. The third one is also on the way, potentially. I still haven't really castled. I have piece activity, but that's all I got. So how can I use this piece activity? White to move. What should we do? No, with bishop f7 it's way too early. We don't really have too many pieces that can join this just yet. I agree, we should definitely bring in more pieces to the attack. The question is how? One way is to try and get this guy involved. So yeah, I see some people in the chat are mentioning bishop g5, and that's exactly what happened in the game as well. When you play bishop g5, now bishop g5, that has a bunch of ideas. Well, I want to eat your queen, and I am offering you the chance to make a mistake. Black has two reasonable moves to do with either knight e7 or f6 trying to save the queen. f6 doesn't work, but it's worth mentioning because not because I get to take it, no, but because of gorgeous bishop h4. If I were to take this, now you get to take back. Now when I move this away, you get to activate your queen. And then we end up in this position, and then black is just better. Technically, I could try to, I guess, castle, and if you take over here, then I could throw in a check somewhere here, but no, it's not worth it. The problem is with f6, you can simply play bishop h4. Something like queen e7 now, it doesn't work because I simply castle. You cannot open, like, this is not open, and I have upper hand. I have threats, you don't have threats. A lot of the times the idea of a threat is much stronger than execution of the idea. So if you want to threaten this poor king, that's the best way to do it instead of just showing your hand too fast. For the poker loving people here, I need to learn poker. I started learning a little and I just couldn't connect. Anyways, that's why f6 is not a good choice. And now if knight e7 happens, which is more desired for black, you know, black is Karjakin, he's a super grandmaster. Exactly, kind of it's like kind of playing chicken with the opponent. Now, what do you think we should do as white? Is it finally time to put this king in a good place? Speaking of good place, I like that TV show. Having sacrificed this bishop right now, it's definitely not the right choice. But I understand that if given the chance, we want to do it. If we have the chance to get more pieces involved, I definitely do want to do this. I think queen b3 is a little premature because you get to castle 2 and I still have to castle, but then I have to now be careful of like c6 and d5s. So queen b3 is too early because you still can't castle. That queen b3 doesn't help us. It is time to castle. Now, if you also castle, now it's still quite tricky because black still has these two extra pawns on C and D that he's taken. But slowly, black could be building up, very slowly again, but it's a good chance. So we have to be careful. I would say maybe right now rook e1. Now if you try to play h6, I can move this bishop away and try to maybe play b5, so no c6. Then eventually I'm gonna eat this pawn, so I'm only gonna be down one pawn as white, and I have great piece activity. So the least of all, I have a counterplay, and counterplay on its own is pretty cool. So, however, Karjakin did not play castle just yet. He went ahead and played h6. Okay, I want to keep this going, so I'm gonna keep my bishop on h4. And here he castled. Okay, fine. We looked at into this position. If he castled earlier, I intended to play rook e1 anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And now black has different options. One of it is this weird a5. It's not that weird, but a5, and you're just trying to like open up the rook, but then it's not really gonna catch because you could always just play b5, and then if c6, you play bishop e4. You know, you hold your own. And so let's go back. All right, so here after rook e1, Karjakin was smart. He doesn't necessarily want to, you know, play something weird like g5. g5 is not going to work here, and the idea is that we get to sacrifice. You all are talking about the idea of sacrifice on f7, but this is much better. Next move, the queen is jumping. This is totally losing for black now. Doesn't matter what you do, I will get my pieces out. Whoops, sorry. Not taking there. My bad. That was a force of mouse. Whoops. Take just king h1. Don't fall into rabbit holes. Just hold with your plan. If you try to be all cute, now I can just bring up my queen. However, if you try to, you know, take, it's still possible, but the problem is that, you know, queen h5 doesn't have that strong impact. It ends up with a check, and then the queen can stop you. And if you try to take it, it takes, and you can still fight. There's like a rook e3 or something, but it's not exactly ideal. Black can try and get away with this, as we can see. So yeah, that's another part to keep in mind. But yeah, the idea with g5 here does not work. This actually reminds me of the game I played against Jennifer Yu, that she really loved g5. Different position and different opening, but still, she did a g5 and she got into trouble, and that was a beautiful game. One of my most precious games. Anyways, queen e8. Now what do you think we should do? We try to free this pin. Now how do you think it's going to follow? we should do as white? Probably finally want to take it over here, so most likely something related to this poor bishop. I don't think we should allow this exchange. My bishop is much more worth than your knight in this position. So yeah, let's save the bishop. Good idea. Yep, I like it too. Let's save the bishop. Now we are, again, still 2 pawns down. My C and D pawn are missing. Well, not technically missing. I gave it voluntarily. But that doesn't justify this idea that just because I'm 2 pawns down, then my position is not good. My position is good. I have counterplay. I have compensation, and that's good enough. The idea is that I'm most likely going to be able to eat at least one of these back, but we don't really want to put too much pressure in eating pawns. We want to use our piece activity and the king weakness and this cool central pawn to go about it for this game. Now, having mentioned those, black still needs to activate his pieces. He still needs to get this bishop out, this rook out, and something like d5 doesn't exactly work because we take it and hello, beautiful. Knight's gonna fall. So black tries to play something like a5 to, open up a little bit. And here white does something quite magical. I did not see this move when I was looking at this game personally, but it makes perfect sense. So what do you think white should do? Black is trying to do stuff in the queen side. We don't really care much about the queen side. So, hi, I see more people are joining our stream. Welcome. Nope, not queen d3, not g4, nope, not a3. Think more related to opponent's king. Thank you, Shahab, that's very nice of you. I like my streams too. And I have a cat sleeping on my porch too. He's knocked out. He went out and he played for about an hour today, so he's very tired. Nope, not queen c2. I see what you're trying to do. Oh, hey buddy. And Kuros, yeah. You guys are thinking more critically. Exactly, bishop f6, because you're never going to take that bishop. If bishop goes to f6, you cannot take it. You take it, I'm taking this back. First of all, I'm not technically giving you a bishop because this knight, it will fall, and then your rook's gonna fall, and it's much more words than just that one bishop that I momentarily sacrificed. So black can't take. Knowing that black can take, this also means that sooner or later, white is gonna bring the queen in the game, depending on the rank or the diagonal. Let's see what black does, but the idea is that I'm gonna bring this queen in the game, probably get it somewhere close to here, and that's going to be it for black. So it's very important for us as white to be able to find the correct way to get the queen involved, but first things first. So black is not going to be able to take this, but he has another idea. There are different moves that are possible here, obviously. Well, one of them is crucially important. The other one is just like doable. What do you guys think? What is the important move that black really should do? There's There are many. I agree. The knight move would be interesting. Why knight g6 though? It is black to move. So if it was white to move, I would definitely be doing something with this queen. It is black to move. I agree that this knight most likely gotta move because, you know, if this knight wasn't here, we could potentially try to take it. So I don't think knight g6 is the way to go just because my bishop is here, so it's pinning your pawn. So now when I move my queen, it's going to have even a bigger impact. You try to move your king. Alright, now I can take it over here. You take it. Well, now I'll just take back. You move the queen. Now, ooh, hello. Whoops. Yeah, this is so much stronger than imagined. Or even if I want to take it a little slower, I could just do like a knight h4 too. If you try to be cool and take it, I can just take back. Now this is, even with this, I hold clear advantage for white. Yeah. The problem is this pieces. You cannot get your pieces involved, but my pieces are very, very involved. So that's why we care so much about piece activity. Anywho, knight g6 doesn't exactly work because it's not really going anywhere. How about knight f5? What do we think about knight f5? Any suggestions on what white should do now? Colin, no. There are official commentary teams for candidates, so I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon. It feels a little too much to like. There's every single channel right now is talking about candidates, so not today. Yeah, queen d3. The idea is when we do this queen d3, if black wants to be all cute, he can try and push for d5, and this is actually black's best chance. Take and queen d7, and if I try to, you know, now it wants to eat my bishop, so I gotta save the bishop, and this is still, black is holding. Black still has an extra pawn, the pieces are liberating a little bit more, so it's good. It's a little bit better. Well, actually, this is black's best option. But even in this, black doesn't hold advantage. It's just the position is holding. There's a very sad difference between holding advantage or just holding the position. I feel that. I feel like that for my tomorrow's example. Alright. So knight f5 would have been Karjakin's best choice, but in the game, under pressure, especially last round, Karjakin is still in shock of what happened in the opening, so he's trying to play a little bit more aggressive with what he's got. So, a4. Now, what shall we do with this bishop? Are we gonna take it? Are we gonna keep it in this diagonal? I think those are the two valid choices. Bishop c2, I don't really, not exactly, because just it can easily be stopped. So I guess these two choices. Which one do we like? Yeah, I see this suggestion with bishop c4. I think the problem with bishop a4 is again knight g6. And if this knight can get to g6, now he wants to eat my bishop, and it also wants to bring more pressure on my pawn, and potentially knight f4, knight e6. It's gonna try and be... Black is trying really hard to hold this position, so we don't want that. I want to keep my bishop where it belongs, in this diagonal. So bishop c4, Dubov is a strong player. He found this move. And now, finally, black played knight g6. To be fair, knight f5 does not really work anymore because I could play queen d3, and if you go for the same ideas, this doesn't exactly work anymore because bishop e7. Remember the queen, the last time we looked at this idea, the pawn was on a5 and the bishop was on b3, so the queen would be defenseless. Now that's not the case. If you try to take, I'll take that. I want to eat over here, or finally eat over here. Oh, that's such a cool position. I wish this was my game. Anyways, yeah, so that's kind of the general idea. That's why a4 was bad. You probably can't really make that distinction so early on right now, but you don't need to move a4, so that's why I'm a little like, I understand it, because if maybe white would be tempted to eat the pawn, but white's Dubov is not a kid. Well, I mean, technically he's young, but he's not an inexperienced player. He's a very strong grandmaster, so he's not gonna just fall for that little cute pawn on a4. Anyways, so bishop c4, knight g6, queen d3, and see, kind of that's also another part about it. Instead of queen going to d3, white has a slightly better move. What do you think is the best move for white here? Queen d3 is perfectly fine, but there is one move that could be played that's just a tiny bit stronger. What do you think? How can white continue? Nobody? No suggestions? No, something. No, 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 no. This is not the way to go. Now there's d5, there's take over here. Careful. Nope, nope, nope. Maybe knight h4 is potential. But instead of queen d3, just queen c2. Now if you try to play d5, I'll still take this. And probably bishop e6 to try and block over here. Then I could just eat over here, you eat over there, and then I can eat over there. Oh my god, so many eating ideas. Rook d1. Yeah, like instead of queen d3, just queen c2. Like a small improvement compared to queen d3. The thing is, when you play queen d3, now black has this d5. You probably take it, then it's gonna be bishop e6, and it's like similar plan, just as when the queen is on c2, the queen is more protected and less prone to exchanges. So what do you think white should do right now? This is also kind of a crazy move, so I'll probably give you guys about 30 seconds or so. What do you think white should do now? Taking queen takes g6 is definitely interesting, but do you think it actually works, or are you just saying it because I asked you to think about this move? Okay, rook takes e6 could be interesting, but it's definitely too early. It's not the right time. right? So I see more support for queen takes g6. Anyone wants to be against queen takes g6? I love this debate. It does work. Actually, right now, queen g6 works quite beautifully. It's a little weird, right? Just gonna give a queen for 2 pieces? Are you kidding me? But it works very, very beautifully. Now, what do you think black should do? Black has to be very careful because, well, I'm attacking your queen, and I also have potential for discovery check. So what do you think? Where do you think this queen should go? Well, that's the thing. Black kind of has to be careful. Queen c8 does not really work because of rook e7, and then that's gonna be quite interesting. Very close to mate. G8. There should be something here. Yeah, just move this rook pretty much anywhere. Rook f7, you just take that back. I could also take a bishop probably. King f8, move this bishop. No, this is too great for white. Worst, like, easiest thing, I'll just bring my knight involved. Yeah, so no, queen c8 is too far away from the king. So it either has to be c6 to attack this bishop or f7. So the thing is, if if black plays, for example, queen c6, now we can do rook e7. If you take, I'll take over there and take that, and now white has slight advantage. It's not big, but it's still worth mentioning. Now the thing is, after rook takes d6, rook takes c3, there's like an extra pawn. There's it's still not really something I would sacrifice a queen for, but it was a beautiful, like, this is great chance for white. So, however, in the game black played queen f7. I think queen c6 would have made it a little easier to hold because a lot of things would have to be exchanged. And then we again are back at this idea of piece activity. We need piece activity. If, again, for example, if Karjakin had played queen c6, kept the queen active, then he could have easily tried to enter that endgame. However, queen f7, now what do you think white should do? We don't really have checks here, but we do have the chance to get the queen back. Should we go for it? What I'm kind of referring to is knight going to e5 to attack the queen. Should we? Yeah. So I see a lot of things. Okay, rook e4, not really, because he takes over here. If you take, now then rook takes back. Now black has the upper hand. So not not rook e4, but I think knight e5 is worth mentioning. But knight e5 again doesn't really work because take, king moves, and oops, not there, because then I take it over here. King moves, and then this is playable, but again black has the upper hand. So not knight e5. What else you got? I want to eat your piece, so you should most likely move this, right? Now it's just a question of where to go. I think the healthiest way to look at it is delicious pawn. I'm hungry, let's go. Yeah, let's go for that. After we play, exactly, after we play bishop c3, we still have a lot of cool ideas. Not necessarily 95 ideas, but next move, if it's white to move, I could want to just play rook e4 and win the queen, right? Because now I'm not losing this bishop, my bishop is safe. So here after bishop c3, I didn't completely understand the computer's recommendation of bishop takes f2. I didn't really understand that just king takes, king moves away, and rook e1, and yeah, it's just probably to stop 95 ideas, but it didn't really go well for my attitude, and I don't think Karjakin liked bishop f2 either, since he played king h8. Now, king h8, what shall we do? Again, keep in mind we've given up a queen for 2 pieces and a bunch of piece activity as white, so we should probably be looking into some, again, more piece activity. What suggestions do we have? What do you think we should do here as white? Rook, bringing the rook to e1, maybe. Anything else? Anything maybe a little bit more active? I think rook e1 is definitely a safe choice, but we want to maybe something just a tad bit more active. Rook e7 doesn't really work because queen takes c4. What else? How about rook e4? I'm defending my bishop and my bishop is attacking your queen. How do we like that? I defend and attack. Now, if black wants to, well, be cute and take it over here, which it's still kind of weird to me, because now there's like queen f5, and yes, there are 3 pieces for a queen, but this kind of actually makes sense, which that's what doesn't make sense to me. Why this makes sense? But it's all about piece activity. Now, if black were to give up that bishop, black would actually get piece activity, and that's so weird to me. Yeah, so that's why this bishop f2 is constantly being recommended. However, it's a little out of our scope. So not bishop f2. And Karjakin simply just played queen f5. Queen f5 is fine, just bishop f2 gives it a little bit more like spice. I guess that's it. That's the best way to explain it, because this bishop, it's not like anything is right now going to eat this bishop, so you don't have to give it up. But queen f5, you are definitely keeping the piece activity. Now, what do you think we should do here as white? This is a gorgeous bishop right here. I got another one staring at that diagonal too. Me too, I like it when my bishops are in the long diagonals. It kind of warms my heart. Makes Bishi happy too, who is sitting next to the door and kind of grooming himself. Hello. Yeah, he's been having a little bellyache recently. He keeps needing to go out to eat grass. it continues, I might have to take him to a vet. Now we can do rook e7. Thank you. Yes. And the idea of rook e7 is simple. I'm hungry. Me personally, I'm not that hungry. I kind of had a late lunch and I ate so much yesterday. Ooh. I kind of went on a chocolate spree. I don't know why I did that. I was stressed for my exam. But yeah, I went on a chocolate spree, so I'm not hungry. But anyways, yeah, rook e7. Let's just go for the delicious g7. And black kind of, again, this bishop f2 is what's being recommended, because now if you take it, now this doesn't work because hello, queen c2, and I'll pick this guy up. You go here, I'll take that. Actually, I could easily just take this too. If you try to, you know, go back, I'll just eat it. And again, you're in a pickle, my friend. If you don't take it and play king h1, now rook g8, but bishop f2 would be a good try. Bishop f2 is worth it because free pawn, and if take, and white still holds a little bit of advantage, but black would at least have a better try, and that's kind of what matters. Alrighty, so black didn't take that chance and he simply went for rook g8. Now what do you think we should do as white? Is it time to eat that? Should we be eating the rook, or should we be bringing in more pieces? Yeah, it's about time. We gotta eat that. I wish d7 would work. d7 is so cute, but it doesn't really work, unfortunately. So, after, I mean, the problem, let me try to be a little bit more specific. The problem with d7 is, I know what, I mean, we see what's happening, but something like c6, something as simple as just pushing the pawn kind of stops the plans. I feel like d7 would still be a good fight, but we could easily just move on with this position too, and this is a better choice. Thank you, Marcin. Yeah, so taking is a better choice, and then we get to eat over here. We're not threatening to make a queen anytime soon, but that idea, that constant kind of like fear that black has to deal with, that's kind of cool. That's what we want. Alright, so d takes c7. Now, black went ahead and played queen c2. Queen c2, best move of the position, but white still holds advantage. Now, the question is, how do we continue? We gotta be a little careful because my f2 is under attack and my c3, and depending on where I place my bishop, c7. So queen c2 has multiple attacking points. So it's important to choose the best way to go about this as white. So what do you think? What should white do? I don't want to lose my bishop, so most likely I'm gonna have to move that bishop anyways. Just a matter of where. I don't really want to sacrifice. Nope, nope. Taking on g7 is much, much too early. We don't want to do that. We don't really have any other pieces to follow it with. If we had another rook involved, another knight involved, maybe. I would actually like that, yeah. Yeah, bishop e5 is the best way to go. When you play bishop e5, you kind of have to make a choice. You're either gonna lose f2 or c7. because you can't really hold on to everything, and something like that you just lose c7. So I was considering maybe bishop here. When you if you try to take it, I could try like rook c1, but then again he can take it over here, and now there's another pass pawn opportunity. Not really worth it, honestly. So going back to my strong, lovely pawn, let's keep this pawn. You take it, I move it, now you go back, attack it. Now what should we do? This move was also kind of just purely weird, because it's just one of those moves that you don't necessarily think about, and it's not that it's like a sacrificial or like a cool move, it's just weird. It's kind of the best way I can explain it. It's like you wish you could bring your rook, but you can't do that just yet. So in order to get the rook involved, what should we do? It's like trying to talk yourself into a certain move. What do you think should happen? Where is the cat? The cat is staring at the window very graciously. Not necessarily rook d7. Again, this is weird, so I'm just gonna go ahead with it. It's h3. I just like open some room for my king to breathe, and that's about it. After h3, black played king h7, and now what do you think we should do as white? Now my rook has a little bit more free room, so how can I get it more involved? What do you think we should do as white? What's the problem with trying to move this rook? The problem is that if I move this rook, I'm gonna lose this pawn, right? Not necessarily right now, because I have some suggestions with taking and c8 and blah blah, but that's the problem, right? So instead of having to worry about when to, deal with this rook, let's just play a3. I stop you from playing a3, I stop you from trying to eat my pawn. I'll just push the pawn. Now, after playing... Yeah, I think a3 would have been more precise, yeah. However, well, again, I don't really see that much of difference. It's just like when you play a move such as h3, the next move a3 makes sense, In the game, white simply just went ahead and played rook e1. It didn't really bother him, and queen takes a2 is not a big deal, because take, and then now I can just make a queen, so that's not a big deal. But now a3, that's kind of what we were worrying about, because then potential takes and pawn is beginning to, look all cute. So, after a3, now what do you think white should do? There is still some moves left, but we can all see clearly that white is indeed better. Hello, Peach Peach. What do you want, kitty? Don't walk on the laptop, Peachy. He made that move. I did not make that move. Pishi decided to make some moves. Who's a big boy? Alright. So here after a3, we do not want to play rook d7. I mean, I guess rook d7 is possible since GMPC recommended it with his glorious pause. No, but rook d7 is definitely possible, but we are still kind of in the zone of playing chill, being protective, prophylactic move. Oh, I'm so bored. So king h2. It's just trying to take it step by step. I'm worried about you pushing to make a queen and give me check. Okay, I'm just gonna be chill. I'm just moving my king up. However, rook d7 indeed was a better choice. Thank you for your recommendation. Alright. After king h2, Karjakin played g5. And now this is another cool suggestion. Oh, I see there's some Farsi in the chat too. Now, what do you think white should do? All of our pieces are somewhat involved except this little dude, right? So what do you think we should do with that? Do you have any other suggestions, GMPC? You want to put the knight somewhere? Who's your big boy? Who is stealing my mouse? Ah! Can I have my mouse back, please? Alright, let me get the mouse back. Alright, I have a cat here, so life's good. Whoa. Well, I guess there goes the answer, so yep. Knight d4 it is. Knight d4 is the easiest way to get the knight involved. If you try to be all cute and take it, perfect for me. I'm gonna take this back. Your queen is kind of like stuck to my pawn. I can easily push this pawn as well. This is so cool. It's so easy. So, Karjakin still wants to, try his best and push for trying to hold on to the position, create opportunities for himself, and all those things that we want to achieve during a chess game, he still wants those too. Just because he has a worse position, it doesn't mean that he should give up. So, after knight d4, Karjakin followed up with queen c4, saving the queen from blast and still holding this queen responsible for c8 square. So now, what do you think white should do? We still probably want to get this knight involved because it can still improve, right? So stuff are happening on g7 square, so let's bring the knight to say hello as well. Yep, knight f5, thank you. And I see there's a meow meow in the chat. I guess that's the move, meowing with the knight. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I'm good. Yeah. Alright. So now knight f5, we are going to say hello to opponent's king with blessing from GMPC. He recommended rook d7. We should have taken his advice seriously. That was a big yawn. Alright, so after knight f5, black is still trying to fight, but this is kind of like a really lost position. So black is just like, I'm gonna try and hope for eating a rook. This is really highly unlikely. Like, I guess the only way that black could actually eat a rook is like if white plays something as weird as knight g7, even bishop g7 works. Anyways, rook c1, keep it simple. I just want to push this pawn, make a queen. I just want to eat over here, force you to eat back so I can make a queen. Like, the idea is simple. Karjakin is still fighting, quite sadly, but still trying to king g6. It's like last resort to try and kick this knight away. To, if I move this knight, then my rook is defenseless. What do you think we should do here? This is a very easy move. It's not the only way to win, but this is a very easy move. What do you think should happen? White to move. Black has some ideas. Black is very lost. First thing I would recommend us to think about is checks. Honestly, I think 96 is alright too. 96 can be a little questionable because of bishop d4, however. Yeah, rook g7. Yeah, rook g7 makes it much easier. After rook g7, if you take it, perfect. Hello, my beautiful new queen. Still, this is under attack, the king is weak, and this is like, should be very winning, like as winning as any mate in 9 or 10 gets. However, not rook, even if you didn't want to play rook g7, I guess something like even if you make a queen right now, that should be fine. You take this, I will take that. If you try to take over here, I still have like g4, but we don't need to, oh, hello, thank you, checkmate. But I don't really need to get into that if I don't want to. Rook g7 is another easy way to win, just rook g7, and that's what happened in the game too. Karjakin tried to follow with a take or two, but now this is just like 2 rooks and a bishop in exchange for a queen, and also this very weird out king. Karjakin's still pushing. He's a little hopeful, maybe try to push pawn, but this is really hopeless. This is just ouchie. Check and rook d8. Yeah. So Karjakin finally had enough and he resigned. Black is clearly losing. There's no question in that part of it. Rook e5 check is also coming up. Checkmate threats. But yeah, so this was a very interesting game. And any questions? I do want to share a little bit more about the game, just the dynamic of it, because it was the last round of you have Russian Championship last year, so it was kind of a big deal. It was very memorable. Yeah. So this was a very beautiful game between Dubov and Karjakin. If there are no questions, we are gonna have our favorite segment of Switch to Twitch. We're gonna go analyze your games on Twitch. So you gotta send me some games. If there are no questions, we will be doing that for the rest of the evening. So please go ahead and take a little quick break, grab tea, water, pet your little kitty, and join us in about 5 minutes on Twitch, and have your games ready on Lichess to send us links, and yeah, it's gonna be great. But yeah, this was my last YouTube the video of when I'm 22 years old. So yeah, this is sad because I'm gonna be turning 23 soon. Alright, I'll see you guys shortly on Twitch. Please join us and send us your games on Lichess.